So, I'd like to welcome everyone today. We're going to be speaking about the differences between in-clinic laser and IPL treatments versus the ones you can buy online, so the home IPL systems. And today I've got Dr. Sam Hills with me, who is a physicist. Hello, Sam. So over the years, I've had my clinic in Bournemouth for about 15 years, and I have been asked quite a lot about, why should people come into clinic for treatment? So, is the in-clinic treatment any better than the home IPLs that you can buy? Now, obviously my answer is absolutely not. They are not as good. And some people might think, well, I own a laser clinic, I'm bound to say something like that. So I thought, right, it's time to put this subject to bed. And who better to ask than a physicist, and also honorary lecturer, aren't you, Sam, at Manchester University?
Yes.
And you also work for Lynton Lasers. So Sam, so what do you think? Because I get people in who say, well, I can buy something for 350 quid. Why don't I just do this at home myself? So what would your answer be to that?
So, well, let's put this into context. If you were treating me, now I'm a very pale skin, so you can use very high settings on me. But typically, if you were doing hair removal on me, what sort of fluence would you be using? Fluence is the energy that we.
So it would depend. Obviously, when I'm starting, it would be low and you work up. But really, I would, by the end of the treatment, or even before that, it'd be about 30 joules.
Yeah. Okay. Well, these home care devices, typically the maximum output that you can get from them is about 7 joules per centimetre squared.
Max.
The maximum.
The maximum output is 7 joules.
Yes.
Wow, that's absolutely insane.
I mean, even in the very darkest skin types, we'd be using settings higher than that, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. I wouldn't even use that on a skin type 5 or 6, not towards the end of treatment. That's incredible. I mean, if someone came into clinic and I used 6 joules on them, it wouldn't work, would it? It just would.
No,
it might change the hair, it might suppress it a bit, but it wouldn't actually work.
yeah, the main difference with these home care systems is really the power. They're limited in the outputs that they can have. Now, I think if you read the reviews, there's always the reviews can be somewhat mixed, but nonetheless, you'll get lots of people saying that they've seen some nice clearance. But certainly with these home care devices, what you're getting, and in fact what they advertise as well, is hair suppression rather than removal. So they're not really talking about, as we do in professional clinics, where we say you have a course of treatments and, after 6 to 8, maybe 10 treatments, you've got long lasting hair reduction.
Yeah.
I haven't, as an example, I haven't had a treatment on my underarm since before my son was born, which was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any regrowth in that time. Now, there are things, hormonal changes, things like that, that can stimulate further growth. But on the whole, with professional devices, you're talking about very, very long lasting reduction in hair. Whereas with the home use ones, it's suppression and continuous treatments that you need really to keep the hair under control.
I didn't actually know. It's funny because I was trying to see what outputs these, home devices had. And a few years ago, I was able to find it, but lately I couldn't really see a lot of information online. But I had my laser treatment done over 20 years ago now. I had it in my mid-20s and I'm now 47 and I don't have to shave anymore. So we do call it permanent hair reduction as well, but that's because we treat about 90% of the hair, don't we? And any sort of finer, lighter ones that are present may not absorb, but it's still, to all intents and purposes, like I say to my clients, if 20 years is good enough, then that's pretty as permanent as we can guarantee, isn't it? So
absolutely, I think with the home care devices as well as them being limited in the technology, in the powers that you can get out of these smaller devices. Also, the manufacturers are acutely aware that the people who are doing the treatments are not trained. So they have got some really nifty technology. They've got, for example, sensors in them that mean that they can't be fired into the air. They can only be fired when they're in contact with the skin. And what that means is that the eye hazard is greatly reduced.
Yeah.
So if you come into clinic with you and you're having treatment, you're going to have to wear goggles to
Yeah.
protect your eyes, but you don't have to do that with the home care ones. Some of them have got sensors in them that detect the skin colour. So if your skin is too dark, they won't allow you to do treatment as well. So, you know, it's nice technology, but it's not the, you know, spending £500 on one of these is nothing like what you've got with your systems, where you've spent, you know, £75,000 on that sort of equipment.
And this is the thing, I think people can understand why a 75,000, you know, piece of equipment has a choice of laser and IPL on it to treat all skin types is clearly not going to get the same results. Otherwise, I would buy one of these systems for £350 and just use it in clinic. But I think people understand that. But I think maybe there's a lot of confusion out there about the technology. Well, it says it's an IPL, and this is an IPL, but I guess it's like saying, you know, a Robin Reliant is like a Formula One car, because they're both cars, but they're like chalk and cheese, really, aren't they?
More like a bicycle. and, you know, but they're both methods of transport. But
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of, you know, that I'm not saying that these are a complete waste of money. Some people, you know, if they want to manage their hair growth at home, then it can be a nice option for them. But you have to remember that before you use these treatments, in the same way as you come to a clinic for treatment, you have to shave the hair beforehand. So effectively what you're doing is shaving the hair, and then you're having to do another treatment on top of that. And another thing I guess to flag is that these, in the same way that you have consumable costs with your system, you have to replace components after, you know, certain how many tens of thousands of shots. It's the same with these home care ones, but very often once the lamp lifetime has expired, that's it. The system then is defunct.
Yeah, which is not great for the planet either, really, is it? So
no, and it's not really that clear when you buy the device. They don't really sort of say, oh, by the way, this is only going to last you, I don't know, 5 years, something like that. That's just if there's one person in the house using it. If there's several people in the house using it, or you're lending it to your friends, then...
It's funny because over the years I've had 2 people come in who bought a couple of these devices and it didn't work for them. Now, obviously, I'm probably going to end up attracting people who wouldn't even entertain buying these home systems and are only coming here for treatment. So I've not seen a lot of them. What I have seen a lot of is them being sold secondhand on eBay. And my gut feeling is that I don't feel that these sellers are now completely hair-free and are now selling it on. I feel that it's like, obviously the 2 clients came in to see me, is that it didn't really work. It worked a little bit, but they just had to keep doing it. I think one review I saw recently said a magic wand, it's not, you know, it's just not going to, you know, take away all of your hair. But I guess, yeah, if you want a bit of suppression and you're not looking for as permanent a solution as you can possibly get, then I suppose you could have this system at home. But it's not gonna, with 6 joules. I mean, I can't get over that.
I mean, some of them are a little higher. So I've seen some systems that go up to maybe 10, 12 joules per centimetre squared, but still much lower than we'd be using in professional capacity. There are some other systems that incorporate laser technology, and they have reasonable fluencies, energies that they use, but they're delivering it in a spot size of 0.5 millimetre. So
0.5 millimetre, that's
typical professional laser, you might be using what, you know, 12, 14, 16, 20 millimetres, or even, you know, 50 millimetres with your IPL system. But this is tiny. I mean, it's like you're going to have to target every single individual hair on your leg.
You know, and then you're going to be giving it a dosage of 6 joules, which is
wow.
But yeah, that really puts it into perspective. I didn't actually realize it was that low. As I say, I couldn't find any data on it, and I'm sure other people looking may not find the data as well. But that, if I was treating someone on 6 joules, in clinic, I'd be completely ripping them off. It would not achieve any hair reduction at 6 joules. It would possibly suppress and change it from maybe a terminal hair, so thick black hair or dark hair, to a vellus, so like a finer hair. But then we don't want to be doing that anyway, because that makes it more tricky to then treat full stop. So yeah,
I think it's more about modulating the hair growth cycle. That's what they're doing, really. So they're just sort of extending that they're delaying the anagen stage, they're delaying the new growth basically coming along. So, you know,
so
I guess, sorry, but I guess another reason why people are interested in the home care systems is because perhaps they're embarrassed about speaking to people about their hair growth. They, you know, they've got facial hair that they might be embarrassed about, or they want intimate areas treated. And I guess it's worth saying that, you know, professional clinicians have seen this all before, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. I do bikini lines day in, day out, and you know, and I think
Men too, as well,
yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Yeah, men, basically anywhere that it's, you know, there is hair growth, generally it's possible to laser. So, but no, I think in the early days people were a bit more sort of shy, but I think it's quite well known now. But I think my concern is that possibly with lockdown, possibly, you know, obviously Christmas is coming up, that people might be tempted to buy these pieces of equipment, which in my opinion and experience is just is not really worth it if your end goal is to get rid of the hair for say the next 20 years, you know, because obviously we can only guarantee permanency for as long as we've had the technology, which is at least what, 25 years now. So yeah, maybe slightly longer. So yeah, so in summary, if you had 400 quid to spend,
what I would do is buy vouchers for a local skincare clinic. And, you know, people want hair removal rather than spending it on a, you know, a device that may not give people the results that they're after, I guess.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I wanted to get, you know, absolute clarification. Who better to do that from a physicist? So, so thanks, Sam. And
My pleasure.
yeah, all right.
Great. All right. I'll see you soon, Kerry. Take care.
Thanks, Sam. Bye.
Bye.